A new crisis for Newsnight. Tonight, this programme apologises. A key allegation in a report about child abuse was wrong. The abuse victim says he was mistaken.
Humble apologies to Lord McAlpine. That certainly is not the man that abused me. That's certainly not the man I identified as abused me to North Wales Police in the 90s.
The senior Conservative named on the internet steps forward to tackle the slurs and instructs his lawyer to set the record straight.
We need to take a number of different actions. First thing to try to get this taken down from the internet, which is not going to be easy. And then we have to look at Newsnight.
This MP wonders what on earth Newsnight was playing at. And these experts will tell us where it all leaves the BBC and the thousands of abuse victims who were already terrified of speaking up. We start tonight with a statement issued in the last hour by Newsnight and the BBC.
On the 2nd of November, Newsnight broadcast a report that looked into criticism of the North Wales Abuse Tribunal. The report included an interview with Steve Measham, an abuse victim who said that a senior political figure of the time had abused him. We broadcast Mr. Measham's claim, but did not identify the individual concerned. Mr. Measham has tonight made a statement that makes clear he wrongly identified his abuser and has apologised. We also apologise unreservedly for having broadcast this report.
Obviously, we wanted to ask questions of the BBC, but no one was available for interview. The Conservative MP Rob Wilson has been a concerned critic of the BBC's handling of Jimmy Savile's time at the BBC, also how the BBC has behaved in recent weeks. And now this, Mr. Wilson, how bad can it get?
Well, it's pretty bad, isn't it? It was a pretty shoddy piece of journalism and very surprising for the BBC.
And its effects may be quite wide-ranging. I've got some news from the Director General himself, who's ordered several actions. I don't know if you're aware of this. A senior news executive has been sent in to supervise tonight's edition of Newsnight, and I can verify that. I've met her. An apology will be carried in full on Newsnight. Tick that. Ken McQuarrie, Director of BBC Scotland, will write an urgent report for the DG covering what happened on the Newsnight investigation we're talking about. And perhaps significantly, and I want your response to these last 2 points, there will be an immediate pause in all Newsnight investigations to assess editorial robustness and supervision, and there will be an immediate suspension of all co-productions with the Bureau of Investigative Journalism across the BBC. I don't know, can you hear the stable door closing?
I'm sorry, I can't hear a lot of what you're saying.
Oh, great. Now even the sound isn't working.
The sound isn't working at my end or your end?
The journalism isn't working. Essentially, the BBC is going to pause all Newsnight investigations. Steve, how would you characterise this latest Newsnight fiasco?
It's a disaster.
Steve Hewlett, just finally on the journalism, this news that investigations are being suspended on Newsnight. I mean, you do wonder then, what's the point of it? I mean, you're just left with the papers, won't you? Trusted the BBC is in the toilet.
Well, listen, there's a piece of work from Cantor, who do the BBC's own work for them, which this week, which show that 76% of people asked did not trust senior BBC executives to tell the truth. That is a genuine shocker.
Esther Ranson, very briefly, on trust in the BBC.
I completely trust the BBC. Only the BBC would call us together in a studio and say, mea culpa in this way.
That's all we have for tonight. Newsnight will be back on Monday, probably.